What is going on, guys? Today's episode of Deep Thoughts is about kind of like my backstory, and I realized that after doing a few videos that you guys don't know who I am, and which probably means you don't care what I say. So I wanted to do a video, kind of like an intro video. I kind of did the day in the life of a business owner, which kind of give you a little overview, but I didn't really go into the specifics of what I do and who I am. So I'll do a quick intro video just so you guys know who you're listening to. Thank you guys for the few of you that have watched my videos. So the whole point of this series is kind of to give you guys an idea how I get through the tough stuff of running a small business. I want to also kind of refer to it as getting through the shit. I don't know if I'm going to edit that out, but that's kind of the recurring thought in my head. So my daily struggles and everything like that are what I wanted to kind of discuss. So let's start at the beginning. Who I am, what I do, companies that I own, blah, blah, blah. So my name is Tony. I grew up in Wallingford, Connecticut, and I am a small business owner. The businesses that I own are Micro Print Shop. It's a screen printing, embroidery, apparel decoration shop. Function Socks. It's a sock company. You guys might have seen some of our products online. If you ever see those socks where you can put your cat or dog's face on the socks on Amazon or something like that, that could potentially be us. There's a lot of competitors, but that's one of our big products. And then on the smaller hobbyist scale is Hot Blood Premium Goods. It's a little passion project that I've worked on for the past 10 years now. My interest originally started because I actually worked at PacSun. If you guys know PacSun, it's still around. I actually went there a few days ago. I've always been into graphic design, t-shirts, and I've always wanted to learn how to design and print shirts. So that is where it kind of led me into starting the screen printing business. So it started with a passion, and we've been doing it for 10 years now. And 2025 actually, is our 10-year mark, which is pretty cool. A lot of people fail after the first, I forget what the statistic is, like people fail after like the first 5 years or something like that. I don't know. As far as revenue and all that stuff goes, we have hit certain milestones, and I'm proud of ourselves because we started this business from scratch, and we've worked at it for 10 years, and it's grown year over year. I won't give you exact figures, but we've made millions of dollars, or at least we've earned millions of dollars, which is kind of a crazy thing to say, and it's something that I don't think if you ask me 23-year-old Tony, like, hey, do you think you'll ever see millions of dollars? Like, I'd probably say no. And I just want to be crystal clear. We've earned millions of dollars. I'm not a millionaire, the furthest thing from it, but I've been able to support myself, and I've got my house, I've got my fun things. So I think it's a pretty cool situation we got going on. So we've been doing it for 10 years. I started off by working, retail jobs. I worked at a retirement home serving old people food, which was not the worst thing in the world, but I learned a lot from that, and I got to eat for free, so that was great. I ate for free for like 2 years. And then after that, I went to New York City, worked in the city, doing email marketing, kind of learned a little bit, but it was honestly just sending spam emails. I remember vividly sending Viagra emails to people, and I just thought it was so crazy that like my boss would get upset when we weren't inboxing, which is basically sending spam and hitting the inbox of these strangers. So a lot of sketchy stuff, but I learned a lot there too. Learned the hard work and learned to kind of grind through all the managers yelling at me and whatnot. But when you're 22, that's all you kind of know. So I made it through that, luckily. And then after that, I moved on to my dream job in Boston, Massachusetts. I worked at a company called Karmaloop, and it was great while it lasted. It was kind of my first introduction to an entrepreneurial environment. So it was cool to kind of see, celebrities walking through, and then actually being in an industry that I actually thought was where I would, basically start a career. Long story short, I basically got fired because I was goofing off a little bit too much with one of the interns, and I did not get my work done, and I got fired. I don't feel too bad because I eventually got I heard news of the company actually going bankrupt. Not like I wished it on the company, but it just kind of showed that like they didn't really have their ducks in a row. They kind of bit off a little bit more than they could chew. But I will not speak any further about that company. It was a cool experience, and it actually kind of led to my next job, which was working at a company called Old Glory, which is actually here in Connecticut, and I learned a lot from there. I learned basically all my graphic design skills, and then I also learned how to sell e-commerce, Amazon, eBay, Walmart, all those online marketplaces. So I learned a great, lesson there on how to sell online, but also how to, a little bit of actually screen printing as well, which was like basically what we do now. We do e-commerce, we do screen printing and embroidery, any type of apparel designs, and then a little bit of graphic design. So I kind of took what we learned there and then just kind of, you know, basically took the same business model and then turned it into ours, which kind of leads us to Micro Print Shop, which is, our bread and butter right now. It's a great environment. We have a solid team in place, and we're doing cool stuff. Like we're making apparel for like the coolest people in the industry, and a lot of YouTubers, a lot of car part manufacturers, like top athletes, a lot of cool stuff, and it really makes going to work a lot easier. They always say that love what you do for work, and you'll never work a day in your life. And like, there are some days that are tough, and that's the whole reason why I'm creating this podcast, because hopefully some of you guys out there are going through the same things that I am. But I just think it would be nice if there was someone at my level. Obviously, there's going to be people that are like way successful that you can only relate to a certain degree. But I'm just a normal guy. I'm just a normal dude that followed his passion for apparel design, screen printing, and graphic design. So that basically leads us to today, and hopefully you guys can relate to what I'm going through. And my job here is to kind of talk you through my day-to-day and just kind of help you guys get through your day. I'm not saying you can't do it by yourself, but I think it just helps having a little helping hand here and there. And if you guys like what you guys are hearing, nice to meet you guys. My name is Tony again, and I'm going to try to do these videos every week, and hopefully you guys stick around.